Hi everyone, welcome back to Cloud Institution. So in this video, we will see about the what is the form tag and what is the purpose of this form tag. Okay. So in the previous video, we have covered many HTML tags. If you haven't gone through it, you can go through that HTML tutorial itself. Okay. So now let's see. So first of all, we have to understand what is the purpose of this HTML form. Okay, so if you are trying to go with the HTML form tag, so why we are using this HTML form? Okay, so basically we will use this form to create the form itself, but to what is the reason behind this means to collect the user input. So for example, you might have seen in the many website, there is a login page and a sign up page. Okay. So when you click on the sign up page, it will ask for you the name, email ID, and the contact number. And so the create a password like this, it will ask for you, right? So that is stored in one of the database. When you go with that, so basically it collected the water, the user inputs itself, right? So it will be stored in one of the database. Okay, so it is connected to the database. So when you're trying to log in, at that time it will recheck with your registered data. So and cross verify, and it will give you the what the login means it will very cross verify and it will give the what so login. Okay, so that is how it will work. Okay, so it will collect the whatever the user inputs are there. So you can see that an HTML form is used to collect the user input. The user input is most often sent to server for a processing. Okay, and next one is like the HTML form element is used to create an HTML form for user input. Okay, and the HTML, this form tag itself doesn't create your form. Okay, so it requires some kind of inputs to add it. For example, the name if you are adding means it should be having a text field, right? So if you are going with a multiple choice questions or something like that, it will be having some kind of checkbox. And if you are going with some kind of single answer questions, at the time you can go with the text fields. Okay, and radio option is also there. Okay, and if you want to submit that form, okay, or multiple choice questions, any kind of these things. So if there is a submit button, so if I want to add the email, okay, there is the input again, like type is there, like email. For the password is there. There are different text fields are there. Sorry, input types are there. So input is basically to get the user data. So that's the reason we use the what input element in the form. Okay, so let's see how to use this form tag in the practical manner. Okay, so let me remove this one. Okay, or you can create a one new form here, form dot html. Let me create already one form. Form dot html is already there. So what I'll do, I'll just create a form one dot html. Okay, so shift plus one, enter. So here I'll try to create the form. So using the form tag. Okay, so enter, and I'll explain you about the action in next videos, coming videos. Okay, so here let's see with the only uh, one things. Okay, so now what I'll do, I want to add the what inputs, right? So there is a element called input. Okay, this helps us to add the what user inputs. Okay, there are different types are there. One, this is the attribute we have to use type. Okay, for example, I want to add the text means I can use the what a text type. Okay, so if I want to add the email, we can use the email only. So for now, let's show you how it will be working. Okay, so let me save it and run it. So you can run it from here using run without debugging, or you can add the extension called go live. Okay, so go live. If you use this one, it will be good for you. So go live extension, or you can say live extension. Okay, live server. Okay, you can go with the live server. So at that time, it will be pop up here. Okay, so you can click on this. There is a right corner. There is a below right corner. It is there, so it will pop up here. Okay, then when you can click on this go live, and you can see that is a text field is added. Okay, so but there is no label is there. What we have to add, for example, there if you go with some kind of registration form means there is a label will be there to enter it, to enter the data, for example name, email. So if you give the label, you will understand I have to give the name here. If I give the like last name, I have to give the last name. So that is called as a label. So what we can do is here, so we can add the label. Okay, so label tag is there, we can add the label. So I'll just give it as a for as an attribute. So I'll explain it for what reason we have to use the for attribute. Okay, so now here I'll just give it as a label as a name. Okay, so name. So see here how it will be working. So it will be working like this. But the thing is, it came at the left, right side, but the text field is at the left side. Okay, so we can change it. So why it is coming like this means label is after the input, right? So that's the reason it is showing after the input only. So let me give it as first. So if you give the first, it will be like it will show in the first itself. Okay, now you can see like this. Now this name and the input text is not linked. How can we make it as a link? Okay, so this label and the input table is not linked. So how can we make this link means? So I have to use the ID, and ID also should be name same as a for. Okay, for the for attribute I have given the name means for the ID also I have to give it as a name if you want to link it. Okay, so in while connecting the database, it will be helpful for you to understand. Okay, so and now you can see it won't show it is linked or not. Okay, but it is internally linked. Okay, so you can see this one. For example, I'll add it as a Shweta. Okay, so name. So another thing, so I'll add the one another input called submit. Okay, so input. So type called as a submit. So it will create a submit button. Okay, so it will create a submit button for us. Here you can see submit button is created. Okay, so Shweta, I'll add it. Okay, so it's got submit. It means it is not storing anywhere, but it is like submit happens. Okay, so when you add the JavaScript and other things, so it will get added into the database. At that time, you will understand it. Now, this is the thing we can add it. So next, if I want to add the email, okay, I can add an email also. First, I have to give the label and I'll give it as an email for that and email. Okay, so next one, input. Here, I'll give it as a email. The type should be email now. If I want to add the mail, okay, so type should be email. Then only I can enter the like at the rate. Otherwise, it will consider as a text. Okay, ID equals to email because I have given the for as a email. So let me add after the I input, I'll add the break. So we can understand more better way. You can see now Shweta. If I add shwetakaniki@gmail.com, it will submit. For example, if I add without at the rate, it will show like at the rate is missing.